There's this hidden part of your daily routine, a secret economic life that you're living, probably without even realizing it. And we're about to pull back the curtain on it.
Okay, I have a question for you. Are you a scientist? I know, that probably sounds a little weird. You're thinking, I don't wear a lab coat, I don't mess with beakers and test tubes. But just stick with me for a second, because I think the answer is going to surprise you.
Just think about your morning. You know that moment you're standing there deciding whether or not to grab that coffee? You're actually running a super fast cost-benefit analysis right there in your head.
Or, okay, how about this? Picture yourself in the grocery store, staring at that wall of cereal boxes. It's almost overwhelming, right? Do you go for the one on sale, the brand you always get, or maybe the one your buddy told you about? Believe it or not, every single one of those little choices, that's an experiment in human behavior. You're the subject, and the whole world is your lab. You're constantly, without even thinking about it, weighing costs and benefits. And guess what? That means you're already thinking like an economist.
So the big question is, how do we make sense of all these millions of tiny experiments happening every single day? Well, economists have this special toolkit, right? It's a set of really powerful ideas that helps them see the world in a totally different way. And you know what? Today, we're going to open up that toolkit for you.
All right, first tool out of the box, the economic model. And look, you can't exactly stuff the entire global economy into a test tube, right? It's way too big, way too complicated. So what economists do is they build models. Think of them as simplified versions of reality that let them zero in on what really matters.
It's kind of like a map. A map of your city isn't the actual city, is it? It leaves out all the little details, the trees, the cars, the people, but it gives you exactly what you need to get from point A to point B. Well, economic models, they do the exact same thing for our choices.
Okay, so how does this stuff actually get used in the real world? Let's take a look at a policy advisor's desk, where these tools help shape decisions that can affect millions of us. This is where things get really interesting, because economists have to be super careful to separate two different kinds of statements. First, you have positive statements. These are about what is. They're claims you can test with data, like raising the minimum wage might lead to fewer jobs, and economists can go and study that. But then you have normative statements. These are about what should be. Saying the government should raise the minimum wage, that's a value judgment. It's a belief, a moral or political stance. An economist's job is to give us the what is part, to map out the possible consequences. But that final should decision, well, that's up to all of us.
All right, let's zoom out from the big government decisions for a minute and look at something much simpler, but just as powerful. Let's talk about a farmer.
This right here is one of the biggest, most fundamental ideas in all of economics. You've heard the saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? Well, that's it. To get something you want, you always have to give something else up. Every single choice is a trade-off.
So picture our farmer. She's got a plot of land. That's it. She has a really simple choice to make. She can use all her land to grow corn, or she can use it all to grow wheat, or she can grow a little of both. But here's the catch. The more corn she decides to grow, the less wheat she can grow, and the other way around too. She has to make a trade-off.
And this simple trade-off reveals another huge concept, opportunity cost. This is so important. The real cost of anything isn't the price tag. No, it's the value of whatever you had to give up to get it. So for our farmer, the true cost of planting more corn is the wheat she didn't get to plant. That wheat she gave up, that is the opportunity cost.
Okay, so now we have some tools in our belt, right? We've got models, we understand trade-offs and opportunity cost. Now we can start using them with two different lenses, two different ways of looking at the world.
First up is microeconomics. Think of this as your zoom lens. It gets right up close to the individual pieces of the economy. One family, one business, one market. It's asking questions like, how does that coffee shop on the corner figure out what to charge for a latte? Then you have macroeconomics. This is your wide-angle lens. It pulls way back to see the big picture, the whole economy at once. This is where you tackle huge issues like inflation, unemployment, or something like the 2008 financial crisis and how it affected, well, everything. You really need both of these lenses to see what's going on.
So, we've opened a toolkit. We've looked through the lenses. What does all this actually mean for you? Tomorrow morning when you're making that coffee.
It means you have a new way of seeing things. Honestly, it's kind of like a superpower. Suddenly, you can spot the hidden connections and trade-offs in all your daily choices. You get that the real cost of binge-watching that new series isn't just the 5 hours you spent on the couch, it's the book you didn't get to read. That's opportunity cost. From now on, when you see a news headline about some new policy, you can start asking the smart questions. What's the trade-off here? Who benefits? Who's giving something up?
It gives you this amazing clarity to make smarter decisions for yourself and your future.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Now that you have these tools, now that you have this new way of thinking, what's one choice you're going to make tomorrow, big or small, that you'll see completely differently? Because that next decision, well, that's your next experiment.